You're listening to Pombo and Peter's Picks, the home of your favorite sports betting podcast. Presented by The Daily Goat.
Hello, welcome to another episode of Pombo and Peter's Picks. I'm Jason Pombo, joined as always by Peter Ralphs. Peter, happy 100.
100 episodes of this BS. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, it's a huge accomplishment. We're the only podcast with 100 episodes. At TJ's pissed that we're consistent and his podcast is not. I don't know if we've definitely taken a week off somewhere, right?
I don't know. I feel like we've definitely been super consistent.
Because I know we've added the NBA thing that's not a part of our weekly thing last year, because that's why we have 100 and nobody else does.
Was it?
Yeah, and an MLB thing.
I just feel like we're pretty consistent. I feel like we're consistently recorded practically usually the same time, usually same
time, same channel.
Pretty much. That's pretty much how it goes. But yeah, happy 100, Peter. I'm sure we'll at the end, like we started last week, we had a little bit of a question segment. We're still looking for a title for it. That's a working title. But yeah, maybe we'll talk about that at the end of the show. And we're also going to have Matt Cunha on. Matt, known as our graphics guy, even though we haven't really seen him in the last couple weeks.
Yeah, not lately. Good job, Jason. Taking the job.
Thank you, Peter. Sometimes they next man up. And I felt like my graphics have been pretty good. Not to bash on Matt. I feel like they've been okay. So, yeah, Matt will have to, I'm sure you're going to put his feet to the fire about where he's been the last.
Yeah, I know. Listen, the engagement, I don't know if that's a valid excuse.
Yeah, have you seen the Office episode where Andy, he went on a boat overseas for 3 months?
Yeah.
And no one knew he was gone. Yeah, that's been Matt.
He's on both sucks as well. He said he's going to Columbus, Ohio.
Oh, shocker.
on Monday. So, yeah, that kid gets around. Going to Virginia, going to the overseas,
yeah,
that kid gets around.
Yeah, kudos to Matt, I guess.
He says it's for work, but I don't think that's.
So does that mean I will be doing the graphic next week?
Not sure. You can ask him. I
guess I'll ask him live on air.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
All right, Peter. So we're gonna do like we typically do. We're gonna recap our picks to start off the show. Talk about Week 4 in the NFL. Then we're gonna talk a little bit about Major League Baseball. We haven't talked about it in probably close to a month. MLB playoffs are coming up rapidly. We're going to talk about the American League and National League playoff situation. Now, most of the playoff seeding has been decided, but not all of it. So we'll talk about that. And then, like I said, we're going to have Matt on for the end, and we're going to discuss some questions with Matt. So loads of fun.
Yeah, not all about football.
Yeah, I know. Peter's almost already drained. We're only in Week 5, Peter.
No, I'm not drained yet.
But yeah, and Peter, again, to pivot from football, we're going to have an NBA show in a couple weeks. Hopefully next week, bring on the Rough in the Basket crew. Try to finalize that day. That'll be fun.
Noah.
And Noah. We love those guys. All right, Peter. So tell me how you did for your picks last week.
So I went a respectful 2-3. Not good. Not bad. Still can't get the premium pick right. 0-4. Lions -4.5. Seahawks ran all over them. They don't have a defense. And putting up, I don't know how many points they put up. Putting up 38 points isn't still enough. Then I lost on Matt's Dolphins. Never bet on the Dolphins ever again. +3. Tua got hurt. Miami had to fire a person. I predicted that last show. Heads and roll.
You did.
And now the NFL is concussion happy. So that's good.
Yeah, that is true. Because now, so the independent neurologist got fired, and now they're reviewing their concussion protocol. You sort of predicted that last week.
Yeah, good job, Dolphins. You suck. Then the over 51.5 with the Ravens Bills did not hit as well because Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen don't know how to play the same quarter. But I did get the Cowboys -3 right. Cooper Rush still undefeated. 3-0, 4-0 lifetime as a starter. That might be a controversy. And then Falcons, the only team that's not that is undefeated versus the spread, 3-0.
Yeah, and Falcons, like you said, only team in the NFL. I went 3-2. I went 1-0 with my premium pick, and I survived the survivor pool. So we'll start off with that. I had the Eagles minus 6.5 over the Jaguars. That was a game that was relatively close throughout the first half into the third quarter. But Trevor Lawrence had a couple fumbles, turned the ball over, and the Eagles ended up covering and getting the W for me. So I advanced to another weekend survivor. So I think that's good for the podcast. Other win that I had the Vikings minus 2.5 over the Saints. The Saints missed a game-tying field goal as time expired. That gave me the W by 0.5 point. My other victory was the Falcons, like you said, plus 1.5. Falcons undefeated against the spread. Marcus Mariota might have had his worst game of the season, but they were still able to deliver a W against the Cleveland Browns at home. My losses, of course, the Thursday night woes continue. I had the over 47 for the Dolphins Bengals. That game, of course, fell under. Tua, of course, left the game, and Teddy Bridgewater finished it out, and that game finished under by at least 10 points. And then I had the Bills minus 3.5. I was off on this one by 0.5 point. So I think it was a pretty solid week for me. It was a good bounce back. So, yeah, right now for the NFL season, I believe I'm above 500 now, Peter. I think I am at – what am I at now? I am actually at 500. I'm 10-10 now.
I am a great 7-12.
No, you got 2 right. You're
I'm 8-12.
8-12. 8-12. Yeah,
Can't
you're
do
2 games
math.
behind me.
Counting
So
can't do math.
I'm 4-0 with my premium picks. So I'll take that to the bank.
Ooh, that's good. I mean,
Yeah.
0-4, 4-0. And before we get too away from it, because I don't think we're going to talk about it, Saints, Vikings, whoever made Alvin Kamara be inactive at like 8:30 should be fired. I'm firing everybody in the NFL. Listen, he was on the practice before. He was practicing. And they made me lose a fantasy matchup. I know, boo-hoo, but... Well.
Yeah, I'll give it same sort of thing. I'll give you a real story. So like I checked fantasy on a daily basis. I watched the injury reports and all that, and everything looked like Alvin Kamara was going to play. And of course, they had the London start, 9:30 start. And Sunday, I woke up at I think 9 o'clock, maybe a little before, and I turned on like the pregame, and I'm watching it, and like again, that it didn't even cross my mind about Kamara. And they were just like, "Oh, Kamara's out," and I freaked out. I was like, "Oh my god, I'm freaking out, bugging. Who am I going to start?" The league I had Kamara in, I ended up getting a win, so I'll take that as a W. But yeah, however, in the 4 leagues I'm in, 2 people forgot to take Kamara out.
Yeah, I woke up at 9:32. I forgot there was a London game. Turned it on. I didn't see him. I saw the infestation of Mark Ingram. Mark Ingram is so terrible.
Also got hurt, I think.
Also got hurt. Yeah. So,
Yeah. L for the Alvin Kamara owners, and he has not had a great year to this point, and he's missed the last 2 games now. So, L. All right, Peter. So let's talk about the Thursday night football game last week. We kind of hit on it. The Bengals got in the win column against the Miami Dolphins, winning 27-15. I think the game was, of course, overshadowed by Tua's injury. But is there anything you can tell me about the Cincinnati Bengals that you saw offensively that they were kind of getting back on the right foot? Joe Burrow was 20 of 31 for 287 yards and 2 touchdowns. And T. Higgins has led the way for the Bengals in terms of the receiving core. 7 catches, 124 yards, and a touchdown.
Yeah, I mean, it was good to see Joe Burrow throwing the ball around. As you said, T. Higgins, our boy Jamar Chase was pretty good. I mean, the only caveat, Joe Mixon still doesn't have an O-line to run over. I mean, that touchdown was nice, but 2 yards a carry isn't always good. I don't know if it's Joe Mixon. Listen, I'm the biggest Joe Mixon fan that you'll ever meet in your whole life, but I don't know if it's Joe Mixon just getting old or the offensive line not still gelling well. But, I mean, it's good to see Bengals 2-2, and I don't think their schedule is that hard. I'll maybe after this game.
Yeah, so I'll read you the next 4 games of the Bengals. You're relatively right. At Baltimore, that's a tough game. At the Saints, we'll see the quarterback situation for them then. Home against the Falcons, and then at Cleveland.
Yeah.
So it's winnable. And I think this game, granted, it's a Thursday night game in which there was a weird circumstance with Tua's injury and Teddy Bridgewater was thrust onto the starting quarterback position, but I do think they looked a little bit better offensively. I still don't necessarily think Joe Burrow looks comfortable. The offensive line still hasn't necessarily gelled as we all anticipated it would. I still think that's a large issue for the Bengals. I think they have a tall task at hand when they play the Ravens on Sunday Night Football this week. I think we're going to learn a lot about this Bengals team because I feel part of me thinks that this is their Super Bowl hangover year. They kind of exceeded expectations last year, and they're really not as good as last year. And then another part of me is like, you know what? They trying to get their pieces together offensively, and they're going to somehow make it all work at the end. So I think this is a huge week for them, arguably their biggest of the season so far.
Yep. And then, as we said on the Dolphins side, we fired a bunch of people last week, and Tua should have never played. And they still said, Mike McDaniel did say earlier, Tua might play, which is an absolute joke. We get 3 concussions in 2 weeks.
Yeah, there's no shot he plays him. I have no shot.
No.
Absolute zero. It's a PR nightmare, and that was just a weird circumstance for the Dolphins, particularly because we all saw what happened 2 Sundays ago when Tua got up and he stumbled against the Bills, and I think a lot of people saw that and were like, he's going to be out of the game. Of course, he returned, and Peter, you had your antenna up last week when we talked about it. You're like, that doesn't add up, and sure enough, Mike McDaniel and Dolphins threw him out there, and the absolute worst case scenario.
At least they're labeling it as a head injury this time instead of a back and a neck
Ankle.
injury. Yeah, or whatever it was.
Yeah, but tough look for the NFL, tough look for the independent neurologist, tough look for the Dolphins. However you want to slice it, tough work for everybody. All right, Peter. Next game I want to talk about is the Chiefs Bucs. That was a Sunday night game. Before we started recording, me and Peter were talking about how a lot of games for this NFL season has went the under, like it's close to 60%. It might be even more than that now. And this game was exactly the opposite. It was a shootout. The Chiefs ended up going to Tampa Bay and winning 41-31. The Chiefs offense, which kind of sputtered last week, looked explosive again. Mahomes was 23 of 37 for 249 yards and 3 touchdowns. Travis Kelce, he was great. 9 catches, 92 yards and a touchdown. The Chiefs ran the ball well. Clyde Edwards-Helaire had 92 yards in the ground, and Isaiah Pacheco had 63 yards in the ground. So they almost rushed for about 200 yards, which was arguably, I think, their best running performance they've had in nearly 2 years. On the other side of the thing with the Bucs receiving core was probably the healthiest they've been this season. They were able to put up 31 points. Brady was 39 of 52 for 385 yards and 3 touchdowns. Your guy, Mike Evans, had 8 catches, 103 yards, and 2 touchdowns. He was dominant. Chris Godwin had 7 catches for 59 yards. So, Peter, what do you make of this Chiefs-Bucs matchup? Of course, it was a rematch of Super Bowl 55. What do you think?
So, assuming that they don't make the Super Bowl, I think it's the last time Mahomes and Brady plays. Brady, after the game, his body language still seems off. I don't know if Giselle officially dumped him or not, but, he's definitely got something else going on. And that's not good for my MVP vote, to be honest. But, the Chiefs, as you said, rushing the ball almost 200 yards on that Bucs defense. It's top 5 run defense in the league, which is always nice to see. They still need to spread the ball around, MVS getting most yards. That's not Travis Kelce. They still need to figure that out. But on the other side, Chris Godwin almost got hurt again, which is not good to see. But Mike Evans balled out, as he always does. And they need to get another... I don't know if it's their O-line, because their O-line is terrible, but they might need to get their rookie running back going, White, because Leonard Fournette got 3 carries for -3 yards. I don't know if that's just because of the game script, because they abandoned the run quickly, which obviously during a shootout, you don't want to run the ball. But I don't know. Maybe they need to get another running back in there. They still have, who's that? Keyshawn Vaughn, too? They drafted 2 years ago.
Yep. But it's been the Leonard Fournette shows for the last probably about year. And Fournette had an interesting offseason. He ended up re-signing in Tampa Bay, but there was a lot of people in Tampa Bay reportedly unhappy about his work ethic and his weight heading into the season. And he had a couple good games early on, but running the ball has not been great, specifically this game. Again, like you said, 3 carries for -3 yards, not good at all. And the Bucs can't rely solely on their pass game to win this year because of the lack of offensive weapons, which is kind of crazy to say, but Julio Jones is 40 years old. Chris Godwin is clearly not 100%. He's been hurt 2 of the first 4 games, rehabbing, of course, from that major knee injury last year. Mike Evans dealt with a hamstring in training camp, was also suspended last game, so he hasn't even been there 100%. Cameron Brate got banged up, so they can't rely on the pass game. They absolutely can't. And I think Fournette needs to establish himself on the ground, or they need to address it somehow, whether in free agency, like you said, maybe get Vaughn going, maybe look at the trade market. I don't know. You need to get something going there because the Bucs right now are 2-2, losing 2 consecutive games here. And I think that's something to be concerned about if you're a Tampa Bay Bucs fan, because despite the fact that their division is lackluster and they're probably going to coast to the NFC South title, this is their point totals in the first 4 games, right? 19, 20, 12, and this past one was 31. And a lot of it was in garbage time when the Chiefs pretty much had the game on ice.
Yeah, but I mean, as you said, I wouldn't worry about it. The division is so soft. I mean, it's funny. The only team that's kind of chasing them is the Falcons, 2-2, and we don't think the Falcons are that good. The Saints are terrible this year.
And
Jameis hurt,
Yeah.
and Panthers are the Panther. So Baker Mayfield can't throw the ball either. So they'll coast to the playoffs, and then I'm sure they'll figure it out. But Brady's body language, even in post game interviews, is terrible.
Yeah, it's not the same as accustomed to seeing from Tom Brady. I don't know if it's obviously he has a lot going on. Do you see the reports today that him and Giselle hired divorce attorneys?
Yeah, I don't know if it's just because it must be because of that.
He's got a lot going on, and maybe part of him is like maybe I should have just wrapped up and instead of dealing with his whole situation now. So I don't know. It's definitely unique year for Brady. He's still putting up numbers, but it just doesn't feel the same. You're right.
You are right. I think this is it.
Absolutely. It. This is definitely it. 100%.
We'll get there too. I'm sure with the Packers. Aaron Rodgers seems like he's done too.
A lot of the older quarterbacks just kind of mailing it in. I guess. I mean, I think they're in different circumstances. Like I think if Brady could go back in time, like I truthfully believe this, if he could go back to February and decide to retire and unretire, he wouldn't do it. He would have stayed retired. I truthfully believe that. Aaron Rodgers, he's a little bit of he's a weirdo. I feel like his changes on a day by day basis. He might wake up pissed and that's it. So his is just unique. All right, let's move to the Bills and the Ravens. This was a game highly anticipated, huge stakes in the AFC. Some people would call these teams the best two teams in the AFC. Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson are clearly the MVP frontrunners, both of them. And the Bills ended up pulling out a victory, winning 23-20, as we said to start off the show. Josh Allen was 19 of 36 for 213 yards, a touchdown, and a pick. On the other side of things, Lamar Jackson was 20 of 29 to 144 yards, a touchdown, and 2 interceptions. The game was, the first half was dominated by the Baltimore Ravens. They were up, I think, 20-3 at one point in the game. And I think at halftime it was 20-10. And the Ravens looked in control, and they looked like they were going to coast to a big victory here. And they kind of just blew it in the second half, specifically in the fourth quarter. John Harbaugh elected to go for it on that 4th and goal situation, as opposed to kicking it, giving the Ravens the lead. We saw a lot of his players dissatisfied after the game, specifically Marcus Peters. He looked like he was yelling at John Harbaugh on the sidelines after. So I think it was a big loss for the Ravens. They fell to now 2-2. And look, the Ravens, they blew 2 games this year that Ravens should be 4-0 right now. And they're not.
Yeah, I mean, this is the worst that I've seen Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen play in this year. I mean, the Bills don't know how to play the first half. I'm pretty sure they score all their points in the third quarter. And the Ravens don't know how to play the second half, as opposed to the Dolphins game 2 weeks ago. Do you know what that meeting was with the Ravens today or yesterday? They said they had a closed door meeting at 3.
Was it a players only meeting or whatever?
Yeah.
Yeah, you see that stuff in sports. And usually when things get hot and they like the captains or the leaders of the team trying to get the room back in a good headspace. And sometimes teams respond well, other times they don't. I think the Ravens know they're in a situation where they, like we were just saying about the Bengals, they also have a big divisional game this week, and they need to let what happened last week go. And I think the locker room is pissed at John Harbaugh for that 4th and goal situation. And I think that's what a lot of it stems from, personally.
He might get fired.
Harbaugh? I don't think he's going to get fired, but I do think he pissed a lot of people off. And they're struggling at home now. They've lost both games at home. And
they've lost 5 games at home, I think. That was
5 in a row, right? Yeah, I think 5 in a row. And they had the Bills on the rope. Like we said, 20-3. On top of the fact that in 1-possession games, the Bills are 0 for their last 7. Believe it or not, about the Buffalo Bills. And I think they had Josh Allen kind of second guessing a lot. Allen, like we said, 19 of 36, not his best work. Stephon Diggs was mostly held in check, 4 catches for 62 yards. Gabe Davis, I know he's not healthy, but he was a non-factor in this game for Buffalo. And the Ravens, this is a huge missed opportunity. There's not many instances in which you can keep a quarterback of Josh Allen's magnitude under 30 points, under 300 yards passing, and I think they kind of blew it on that.
Yeah, and on the Bill side, they still need to get a running back. I know James Cook hasn't been playing since week 1 and it's fumbled.
Fumbled.
But you can't have Josh Allen carrying the ball 11 times. I mean, to be fair, I've been saying about this Lamar Jackson on the other side, and he just does it, and that's just what he does. Maybe Josh Allen's just going to be Lamar Jackson, and maybe that's just like the new NFL, where the coaches don't care. The quarterbacks get killed. Well, when one of them tears blows out their knee or something.
Yeah. It's like you said, it's kind of a new NFL and things have changed. But I think it's fair to say the Bills' offense has struggled the past 2 games. And I think that's fair to. We'll see what they do this week. Again, it seems like a layup this week against the Steelers at home with rookie quarterback Kenny Pickett. But hey, who knows? All right, Peter, let's switch gears. Let's talk about the Patriots Packers, a game that I think most analysts, everyone and their mother thought our guy Brian Hoyer was going to lose by 30 points. And Brian Hoyer, he finally gets an opportunity after over 2 years waiting. Of course, Mac Jones out with the high ankle sprain, and Brian Hoyer gets knocked out in the first series of the game with concussion or head injury. And Bailey Zappi, the rookie 4th-round pick from Western Kentucky, stepped in, and he looked poised. That'd be the best word I'd give to describe. I think poised. He was 10 of 15, 99 yards. He threw a touchdown, but the Patriots ended up falling short in overtime. Packers win 27-24. Aaron Rodgers was a non-factor in the first half. He threw a pick 6. He had a quarterback rating of 11 in the first half, 11.1. It was his lowest of his career. But Rodgers ended up playing extremely well in the second half. He finished 21 of 35 for 251 yards, 2 touchdowns and a pick. The Packers relied on Allen Lazard in big instances. He had 6 catches, 116 yards. Packers ran the ball extremely well, rushing for slightly under 200 yards, 199 yards. Aaron Jones for 110. A.J. Dillon for 73. So the Patriots clearly had no business being in this game. They were in the game, and I think I was surprised to see it, but somehow they were in the game. What were your reactions for both sides here?
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't that bad. Patriots are 1-3. I think they're the 14th best team in the AFC, which isn't good. But when you have Axel going out there, does this count on his record? He won a start, or does?
What do you mean?
Oh wait, he didn't even win.
Yeah,
never mind.
If he would have won, yeah, it would have counted as a W.
All right. Well, I don't think actually Noah Belichick Hoyer will probably start as if he's not touching this game in the next game. But I like Zappi. I mean, he had some poise with Kendrick Bourne. He had some poise with Devontae Parker, and he didn't look like a statue back there. We love Brian Hoyer, but come on.
Yeah, no, it's Zappi is he's a different quarterback from the other guys the Patriots have on their depth chart from Mac Jones and Brian Hoyer. Zappi is a lot shorter than those guys. I think that's pretty clear to say. He's barely 6'1". And I think they kind of put him in a real high percentage plays. The Patriots ran the ball a lot. They ran the ball over 33 times total. And Zappi dropped back to pass 18 times. He was sacked 3 times and he completed 10 balls. He only completed, I think, 6 balls past the line of scrimmage, but he didn't necessarily impress me from his performance other than the poise. That's a difficult circumstance to be in. You're a rookie 4th-round pick who's never even been dressed for an NFL game. All of a sudden, you're launched in a Lambeau Field against Aaron Rodgers and the Packers. Like, that's a situation which most quarterbacks would, like, crap their pants, and he didn't, which was a huge success from that standpoint. But I know some people are ready to build the Bailey Zappi statues out there. I'm not there yet. I didn't see it. He had 2 nice balls, but again, they were wide open to Devontae Parker and Nelson Aguilar, and one of them should have been a delay game. So again, Zappi, he did what he was asked to do, and he kept them in the game. He didn't turn the ball over. Well, he only turned the ball over once, and that was big. So now Peter, I'm going to give you this instance. Would you rather have, let's say Brian Hoyer gets cleared from concussion protocol. Would you rather have 90% Brian Hoyer, 75% Mac Jones, or 100% Bailey Zappi?
Versus the Lions, I'd have
against the Lions, yes.
Brian Hoyer, because I'm pretty sure there was no tape on Zappi, and now there is. I think he's going to get exposed this week if he starts. And Mac Jones obviously can't run, can't throw. He's probably out for a while.
So you're taking Hoyer.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. I think I agree with you. All right, let's take Hoyer out of the equation. 75% Mac Jones, 100% Bailey Zappi.
100% Cam Newton. You see those rumors? I mean, to answer your question, no, I'd take Zappi. Mac Jones can't.
You don't think Mac's playing this week? You think Mac's
no shot. He's not playing until way later.
I think I'd be surprised if he played this week. I think he's going to play next week is my guess. I think what's going to end up happening, I would start Hoyer. all things considered, I would start Hoyer. He was fine when he played. He was 5 of 6 for 37 yards, and he was fine. He knows the offense. He knows all that, which is big. Zappe, you have such a limited playbook, and like you said before, now there's film out there on Bailey Zappe. Granted, it's limited. Granted, the Patriots didn't reveal anything crazy. They kind of just ran a bunch of screens and misdirections, and they ran the ball extremely well. But I don't necessarily envision that Bailey Zappe is going to have this kind of success against the Lions, despite the fact that their defense is the worst in the NFL. I think if Zappe does start for the Patriots, I think the Patriots are going to run the ball 45 times.
Yeah,
I think
and
run.
There's going to be Penny. And
yeah.
Yeah.
Just run the ball with Harris and Stevenson. And yeah, exactly like you said, run the ball for 200 yards. And Zappe just act as a game manager, throw the ball 20 times and call it. And that's what I would say. But yeah, poised for Bailey Zappe. Again, I'm not the biggest Bailey Zappe fan out there. Like, I think coming out of college, look, he was dynamite in college. He broke so many records in terms of passing records, but no, long term, I still envision Mac Jones being the guy, and Mac Jones is still the guy when he's healthy. But I think hey, look, any competition is good competition, right? Isn't that what they say?
Yeah, for sure. And then on the other side, the Packers, obviously Aaron Rodgers was Aaron Rodgers, but if you're rushing the ball like that versus the Patriot defense, which isn't good to see, and it gashed him for over like 250 yards or something stupid.
199.
And then receiving, good to see Romeo Doubs not get Sean. I don't know if he's going to get X out again after the drop touchdown. Even after they reviewed it, I think he didn't drop it, but
yeah, to the new rule, that's the rule. But again, who the hell knows what it catches? But it does feel like Romeo Doubs feels like he's emerging over Watson in Green Bay, right? I thought it would be Watson. It hasn't been yet. So we'll see how the Packers kind of goes. But yeah, the Packers, of course, they moved to 3-1. But to me, the Packers still feel like a team that has a lot of flaws. The Packers should have won this game by 2 touchdowns. Tell you what, if Brian Hoyer or Mac Jones play this game, I think the Packers lose this game. Right? I mean, I think so.
Probably. I mean, they did get luck with the pick six.
Yeah, I mean, that was a bad throw. That was a really bad throw.
Yeah.
But we'll see. The Packers, again, their schedule, it's still cake for the next 3 weeks. Home against in London against the Giants, home against the Jets, and then at the Commanders. Yeah. So they haven't really been truly tested yet. Their only test, you want to call it, was, I guess, week 1 against the Vikings, and then against the Tom Brady and the Bucs with Peter Alves as the leading receiver for the Bucs. Yeah. So, yeah. All right, Peter, let's talk a little bit. We were just talking about the Lions. Let's get into them. This was an absolute shootout. You were high on the Lions last week. It didn't end up coming to fruition. The Seahawks ended up beating the Lions in a shootout, 48-45. Seems like an NBA halftime score, not an NFL game. Geno Smith carved up the Lions defense. He threw the ball for 320 yards. He was 22 of 30 for 2 touchdowns. And the Seahawks, they ran the ball whenever they wanted to. Ran the ball for 235 yards. Rashad Penny had 151 yards. Geno Smith had 49 yards in the ground. So the Seahawks got anything they wanted. DK Metcalf had 7 catches for 149 yards. Lockett had 6 catches for 91 yards. Seahawks could do anything they wanted offensively. And the Lions could as well. Jared Goff has continued to perform really well. He's the number 1 passer right now in the NFL. Goff was 26 of 39 for 378 yards, 4 touchdowns and a pick. Jamal Williams, he ran the ball for over 100 yards, subbing in, of course, for DeAndre Swift, who's out. And the Lions had all the success without Brown playing, which is even crazy to think. TJ Hawkinson had the best game of his life. 8 catches, 179 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Josh Reynolds, who they practically picked up off the scrap heap, 7 catches, 81 yards, and a touchdown. So, Peter, what do you think about this high-scoring affair?
So obviously, Seahawks and Lions don't have a defense. Seahawks, I mean, they deserve the win. Geno Smith, that's a good story. It's just the Seahawks. I mean, it's all Rashad Penny to be. Yeah, they are 2-2. Nobody's out of it. It's the NFC. I wouldn't worry about the Lions. You laughed at me last week. Jared Goff might get some sneaky MVP votes.
I did laugh at you, but Goff has been tearing it up.
It might happen. The Lions need a fix on defense. Maybe we're too high in the Lions, but I mean the public was. But
oh my God,
I don't know. I don't know if we were. I mean, it still seems a year too early. Jared Goff is fine. They'll fix the defense during the draft and probably during the offseason. Their offense looks pretty good. And the Seahawks obviously are in a complete rebuild. And shout out to DK Metcalf for being Paul Pierce 2.0.
Yeah, right. I got the alert on my phone. I was like, you got to be kidding me. Carve it off. I can't afford him to tear his ACL or whatever else. And
well, I didn't even see what play, and then it didn't even seem bad. And then
yeah, same. But
And then
who
obviously he
knows
just
now?
went to the bathroom, and that's a legendary moment. So.
Yeah, legendary DK Metcalf moment right there. But you're right about the Lions. We talked about it how before the NFL season started that the public was way too high on the Lions. Weren't they the most cashed Super Bowl bet in the NFC?
Yeah, and
Something
then
crazy
they
like
shot
that.
up the whatever his name is.
For Hard Knocks,
Yeah,
that people
the
were
coach.
Dan Campbell.
Yeah, Dan Campbell, like third on the coach of the year, which is
Yeah.
Stupid.
Yeah, it
We're
went way
saying it's
stupid.
1 year too early, which is it's still true. But
Yeah.
they should be fine. They have a bright future. No,
Yeah,
pretty happy. So
they still can win 6 or 7 games. Like, I don't rule that out. They can win 6 games.
yeah,
But they have a lot of flaws. Offensively, I think they'll end up coming back down to earth because I don't think the reason Jared Goff has played so well is because his offensive line's been great for him. He's been protected, and I think that's been the difference maker because once Jared Goff is under pressure, it's completely different. That's how the Rams had success with Jared Goff in 2018 was they were able to protect the hell out of him and make life so much easy for him. So I think that's big, but I don't know if they'll be able to replicate that all year. And TJ Hawkinson, I think he's a gamer. I think he's a legit player in this league. Other than that, though, I think the Lions will come back down to earth offensively.
I'm all right. Says St. Brown though. He's a
Yeah, and he didn't even play
No.
last week, which is crazy. So this Lions team, again, they're just so weird, right? Like to me, it's just so odd.
They got a bright future. Hutchinson looks amazing.
Yeah, I like that defensive player of the year, defensive rookie of the year pick for us. All right, Peter, let's move on. Let's talk a little bit about my Vegas Raiders. Finally getting in the win column. They beat the Broncos 32-23, finally at home. Derek Carr was 21 of 34 for 188 yards. They ran the ball effectively for the first time all year. Josh Jacobs, welcome to 2022, baby. 28 carries, 144 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Devontae Adams, welcome. 9 catches, 101 yards. Other side of things, Russell Wilson continues to not look comfortable in that Nathaniel Hackett's offensive system. Russell Wilson was 17 of 25 for 237 yards and 2 touchdowns. And also, big loss here, Javonte Williams. He's going to miss the remainder of the year. He might have been their best player offensively. He looked really explosive. To me, it felt like he was being underutilized for the Broncos. And Randy Gregory, who was arguably their best pass rusher, also got hurt for this game. So, yeah, not a good situation for the Broncos. Russell Wilson, of course, struggling. Javonte Williams out for the year. Not a good recipe for the Broncos early on.
So, as a personal aside, I wanted to light this game on fire. I had Russell Wilson and Jerry Jeudy in fantasy. Did not start them because I think they're doing trash. And I had Josh Jacobs, and he was doing nothing. And they all assumably went off. So, you're welcome for the Raiders win. But Javonte Williams lost. Mike Boone will probably step in. Melvin Gordon has fumbled 5 times in the last 47 carries or something stupid. I hate Melvin Gordon, but that's fine. Russell Wilson, as you said, you didn't like his performance, but it was the best that he's looked for 4 weeks.
It's true. He got hurt too. He got a little banged up.
Yeah, his shoulder is pretty bad, but I don't think he'll be hurt. I think he'll play. Yeah, but Broncos still had some unfathomable drops. I don't think they like Russell Wilson. And then on the other side, Raiders are pretty good. I mean, Derek Carr did absolutely nothing, but it's all the run game. And the Broncos defense is supposed to be top 5 in the league. Did not show up. Patrick Surtain should get Devontae Adams' number because he literally is chasing him all night. So
yeah. So Raiders moved to 1-3. Broncos fall to 2-2. The Broncos look bad on the road. They're 0-2 now. The Raiders needed that win because tell you what, Raiders Twitter, they were in a real dark place. There was a lot of fire McDaniels talk already, Peter. A lot already.
Rightfully so, I guess. 0-4 with that talent all the way around.
You're right. And they should be better and they should have, but I don't know, just chill a little bit. Like, I don't think it's been Nathaniel Hackett bad in Vegas, right? Like, I think Josh McDaniels and the staff have looked competent. They've had some bad breaks and they've had some miscues, like the Hunter Renfrow fumbled and ended up in a loss against the Cardinals. Like, I get all that, but I don't know. It was a big win for McDaniels. He needed that for the locker room and ownership. He needed that. All right, Peter, let's move on here. Let's talk. Specifically, I want to talk about this game for one reason. So the Jets beat the Steelers. Jets win 24-20. I want to talk about this game because Mitch Trubisky was benched after going 7 of 13 for 84 yards and an interception. He was benched for rookie quarterback Kenny Pickett, who was a first-round pick from Pittsburgh. Pickett was 10 of 13 for 120 yards. His 3 incompletions were all interceptions. So that's fun. What do you think about Kenny Pickett? Do you believe it's a better option than Mitchell Trubisky? Steelers are now 1-3, and They should have won this game. They should have won a couple other games. They've had a lot of missed opportunities here. Tell you what, Peter, for the first 4 games for the Steelers, 3 of them have been 1-possession games.
Yeah, we're calling for it 2 weeks ago, but obviously they can do it on a short week. Kenny Pickett didn't. I mean, he looked fine. He had 3 interceptions. Was not well, but he should. George Pickens looks pretty good with Kenny Pickett, and I think he's better to run the offense, to be honest. And he should be acclimated enough. 5 weeks in the playbook, so, and he's not getting. I mean, this week he's getting thrown into the fire versus the Bills. Sorry, but it is what it is. I think it's the right decision. Mike Tomlin, he'll be safe, but it is what it is. And on the other side, Jets. Good job, Jets. 2-2. You know, it's a dark place when the Jets are above the Patriots. And spoiler alert, after this week, the Jets will be in tied for second place with the Bills.
Oh, look at Peter is high on Zach Wilson. Things he
But Zach Wilson is going to destroy Elijah Moore and destroy Wilson.
Things
he doesn't like to throw the ball deep.
He does not. I also think Breece Hall has been a pretty big difference maker for the Jets. I know he only had 66 rushing yards and he had a touchdown, but I think he's a big difference maker. And like you said, I think Kenny Pickett was ultimately the right decision. I think early on it wasn't necessarily Mitchell Trubisky's fault. But they hit a point where they needed a spark, like Mike Tomlin said, and Kenny Pickett was that spark, and he got him in the game. Pittsburgh made a late run at it, and they just weren't able to finish it at the end. But interesting to see where Pittsburgh really goes from here. Their schedule is very hard next couple weeks, Peter. I'll give you their next 4 opponents. At Buffalo, home against Tom Brady and the Bucs, at Miami, at Philadelphia.
Oh my God, he's gonna just get thrown into the fire. Lost.
Yeah, so this looks like I mean, again, very early to forecast, but I would be surprised if Tomlin ended up going above 500 this year. I think this will be the first year in which he doesn't.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. All right, Peter. Before we get into some MLB playoff talk, let's give our picks for the week. I'll let you start.
All right, my first pick, I have the Chiefs over the Raiders, -7. I didn't think the Raiders defense looked that good. And if the Chiefs can put up 40+ points versus the Bucs, I think they can put up 40+ points versus the Raiders. I don't think the Raiders can ultimately catch that score. Chiefs -7.
Okay. I'll give you my I'll save I'll do my premium and survivor first. We'll get that out of the way. I'm gonna go with the Bucs -8.5 as my premium and survivor pick, Peter. That's what I've done now for 5 consecutive weeks. It's worked every single week, and I'm gonna roll with it again here. Tom Brady has never lost 3 consecutive games in his NFL career. I don't believe this will be the time. They're home against the Falcons. Marcus Mariota is coming off his worst game of the season. Cordero Patterson's now on IR. I think this is a good situation for the Bucs. I think it's a good bounce back spot for them. I think the Bucs are going to put some points up on the board, and they're going to win the game like 34-14, 38-14, something like that. I like the Bucs here, and I like them big, -8.5, premium and survivor, Peter.
Listen, the Bucs can win. I have no doubt about that. But I have the Falcons +8.5. They'll still be 5-0 against the spread. Divisional matchup. Brady doesn't look right. It's just vibes alone, to be honest.
Feeling vibes. All right, I get that. My next pick, I'm going to go to Thursday Night Football because I'm 0-4 on Thursday Night Football, and I'm not going to be 0-5, Peter. This is going to be my 1 W, so I can stop trying to pick this freaking game. I'm going to keep picking it until I get it right. So I'm going to go with the Broncos -3 over the Colts. The game is in Denver. I understand that we just crapped on the Broncos and talked about how Russell Wilson's banged up and Williams is out for the year. But the Colts have looked like a different team on the road. Short week. Home teams have played extremely well on Thursday night compared to the road teams. Denver's a tough place to play. Colts are a dome team. I like the Broncos here -3. Not saying it's going to be pretty, but the Broncos get the job done.
So everyone bet Colts +3,
Colts
+3.5 right now.
Yep.
And my next pick, I have the Vikings -7 over the Bears. Justin Fields still can't throw the ball. They still have Dalvin Cook, which is ultimately nice to see. The good win versus the Saints. The only thing that's concerning, they're not taking the bye right after London, so they might lag right out the gate, but it shouldn't be that bad because I don't see Justin Fields putting up points.
Yeah, I see what you're saying with that one. Next one, I'm going to go with the Patriots -3 against our guy Noah's Lions. I don't care if Mac Jones is quarterback, Brian Hoyer, or Bailey Zappi. I'm confident in the Patriots offense to put up enough points against this Lions team. I think it's a good bounce back situation for the Patriots. Their schedule lightens up starting this week, and I just don't necessarily trust that Lions defense in any capacity. I think the Patriots can do enough to get in the win column this week. I think they'll scheme it up and they'll get a W. Patriots
And
-3.
you're going to the game?
Peter, I might be. I might not be. Who knows?
All right, cool. Mark that as a loss. Good job, Noah. I hope Noah's going with you.
That's the plan.
Yeah, but next pick, I have the Seahawks +5.5 versus the Saints. If Andy Dalton plays, that's the easiest bet probably you'll ever see in your whole life. I don't like Andy Dalton. I don't think he gels well what Olave wants to do, what the offense wants to do. He wants to just throw it short. He doesn't even throw it to Kamara. He's not even gonna play. That's gonna be his
better
game.
play. Kamara better play.
Yeah, I don't know. And then obviously shut down Jameis if he's still dealing with his back, like shoulder, arm, finger. I don't know. But
yeah, Jameis hasn't been right, and I think that's why ultimately Dalton got the start. We'll see. This one I'm gonna go with an upset here. Cardinals +5. They're playing the Eagles. I understand that the Eagles right now they're 4-0, and I think we both can probably agree that they might be the front runner in the NFC to this point. They've looked the best. I think this is a good spot for the Cardinals. I really do. They're at home. They're coming off a nice win against the Carolina Panthers. Eagles have that old cross-country flight. I like this situation for the Cardinals. I don't necessarily know if they win the game, but I think it's going to be close throughout. Kyler Murray's going to put up some points. And the Eagles offense did struggle at times last week against the Jaguars. I know they had to deal with the downpouring rain, but I like this situation for the Cardinals, +5.
bet them now. The Modern Warfare 2 is coming out in 5 weeks.
Is it? Oh, yeah? Okay.
FYI. And last pick, I have the Jets +3 premium pick of the week. So a little aside, it's kind of just to piss off Matt, but Tua doesn't play. I like that even more. I don't think Tua's going to play. I don't like Teddy Bridgewater. It's a nice story. But I don't think we'll get the job done. Jets. 3-2 Jets. 3-2 Jets. Maybe 4-1 Giants. Damn, what world are we living in?
Seriously. The New York uprise until you get to the Mets. All right. For my last pick, I'm going to go with the Titans -2.5. Titans going up against the Commanders. Titans had an impressive win against the Colts this past Sunday in Indy. And the Titans have quietly won 2 games in a row. And Ryan Tannehill has looked adequate in back-to-back games. Derrick Henry ran for over 100 yards last week. The Commanders, they're 1-3. Ron Rivera had a press conference on Sunday, and he was very unhappy. He was pissed that the fans were booing him, and it seems like it's a mess in Washington right now. Terry McLaurin's frustrated. He's not getting the ball. Carson Wentz is turning the ball over. I like the Titans here -2.5. I kind of said the Commanders would really suck this year, and I'm not backing off that. They really suck this year. Titans -2.5.
Yeah, the Washington Commanders might be the worst team in football.
I think they just have nothing really going for them other than Terry McLaurin. Like, seriously. I know Chase Young, of course, has been out, and that's a big part of the team, but I don't know. I think they really blew up the quarterback situation this past year and going to get Carson Wentz like 4 months way too early. Remember that? Like,
it doesn't look that bad though.
Sense.
Carson Wentz looks terrible. Matt Ryan looks terrible.
I know, but that is a fair point that they all really haven't worked out. But they could have got Jimmy Garoppolo, and I'm sorry, Garoppolo is twice the player Carson Wentz will ever be. That's just my take on it. But all right, so we kind of teased that we talk about some MLB playoff stuff. We're finally going to get into it because the playoffs starts on Friday, right?
Yep.
Friday. So again, the regular season, when's the regular season end? It's
probably Wednesday.
Wednesday, right? So again, everything's not 100% official, but right now the Astros are the number 1 seed in the American League. They're going to have the first round bye. And the Yankees are the 2 seed with the first round bye. The Guardians winning the AL Central. No one would have called that. They're the 3 seed. And then 3 wild cards. The Blue Jays with the 4 seed, the Mariners with the 5 seed, the Rays with the 6 seed. So in this scenario, the Guardians are going to play the Rays in a best of 3. The Blue Jays are going to play the Mariners. So, Peter, what do you take on the American League playoff landscape? Is there teams you like, you don't like? Any sleepers? Who do you like?
So they ruined the postseason because the wild card isn't a 1-game play-in anymore. It's best of 3 with the higher seed getting all the home games.
Yeah, that too. Yep.
But it's probably the Astros to lose. I don't like the Yankees pitching staff, even though their offense will carry them. I think it's the Astros to lose. But I'll just keep my postseason bet from a year ago. Tampa Bay versus Seattle.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Your Seattle Mariners are still hanging around. They're a fun team. I don't not this week, of course, Peter, but maybe next week after, we got to look at our win totals to see how we did for baseball. I don't think we did. I don't think I did very well.
I don't think I did.
I don't think we did very well. The Guardians, I'll tell you what, they're a team that frankly came out of nowhere. I would have told you the White Sox or Twins were best equipped to win the AL Central. The Guardians didn't. We both said they were a rebuilding team. Remember, we were both like, this team's got to just blow it up, and they won the division. So
Well, Jose Ramirez would win the MVP if it wasn't for Judge. So.
Yeah, that's true, and we all both said they should trade him. I like the Blue Jays a lot. I think they're a team that I don't want to call them a sleeper, but from the wild card teams, I like the Blue Jays the most. And I think the Astros were a team that are still there. Everyone hates that they're still there. The Yankees, I know the whole Aaron. What do you think of the Aaron Judge story? I know he's still looking for home run 62. Maybe he hits it Tuesday, the day we record, or Wednesday, but I know he's still looking for that home run record for the American League. Do you think that's a little overplayed?
No, because he's gonna get paid. He should get home run. Actually, he shouldn't get the home run record, even though it's Barry Bonds.
It still belongs to Bonds, in my opinion.
Always be Barry Bonds. I don't see anybody hitting 73 or whatever it was, but good for him. Betting on himself and becoming a Red Sox in 3 months.
I really wish. That'd be such a fun story. I just don't think it's plausible. But like I said, I like the Blue Jays. So Peter, if we kind of, I'll give you a little bit of my again, because it's only 6 teams. I can give you my a little bit of a bracket, if you want to call it. I'm going to take the Blue Jays over the Mariners. Sorry. I'm going to take the Rays over the Guardians. And then I'm going to take the Astros over the Rays. I'm going to take the Yankees over the Jays. And then I'm going to take the Astros over the Yankees in the AL. Astros going to the World Series.
So I also have the Astros making the World Series. If Seattle beating Toronto, and then I have Cleveland beating Tampa Bay. I don't see Tampa Bay's pitching staff holding up. I want to pick the Yankees. I don't want to pick the Yankees, but it's going to be a Yankees Astros the ALCS. And if it's
Again,
not,
it has to be.
It's a slap in the face of baseball fans, and we probably won't get it anyway. So.
I think we're going to get it. So you have the Astros and going to the World Series, representing the American League. Yeah, I do too. And I think the Astros Yankees is best for baseball. Worst for baseball is like Guardians, Blue Jays, right?
No, Tampa Bay and somebody.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Tampa Bay versus
because then you got to see
Tampa, Toronto.
Postseason. Yeah, then you got to see the whole postseason go through stupid Tropicana Field.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, I like the Astros coming out of the American League. I think they've just done too much, and the Yankees are a team that they had such a hot start, but I don't want to call it plateaued over the last calendar month or so, but they don't look the same as they did earlier on the season. I still have questions there, and I think ultimately they'll fall short. Any other takes on the American League, Peter?
Go Seattle.
I know you're Seattle.
Hopefully you have your American League bets. I do not. Spoiler alert, Matt does not either. But yeah.
Yeah. Hey, you know what? This has been a relatively fun baseball season, not for Red Sox fans, but just overall in baseball, we got to see the whole Judge, like we were just talking about, fighting for that record for the American League. Ohtani still doing his thing. I think the Guardians are a really cool story. The Blue Jays are fun to watch. Seattle's fun to watch. The Astros are still the bad guys. Like I think this has been overall a good baseball season.
And I'm sure we'll save it when the MVP gets officially announced, but I'm going to fight Aaron Judge getting the MVP for Shohei Ohtani. Again, should have got it. And he won't.
Should have Ohtani. I guess we'll talk about that in a couple of weeks. We don't want to yell at anyone for doing anything yet. They haven't done anything yet. All right, Peter, let's move on to the National League. So as it currently stands, the Dodgers, of course, are the number 1 seed, and they're going to get the first round bye. What do they have, 110 wins, 112 wins?
Yeah, they beat the Red Sox. So.
Yeah. The Braves, right now, they have a hold on the NL East. They swept the Mets over the weekend. They have the 2 seed right now. Cardinals are the 3 seed. The Mets are the 4 seed. Padres are the 5 seed. Phillies are the 6 seed. So, Peter, as we just discussed in the American League, who do you like? Who do you don't like? Any sleepers? What do you think?
So, obviously, you have to like the Dodgers. It's not fair. But I'm not going to pick the Dodgers because that's chalk 1 versus 1. I like the Cardinals. I really like the Cardinals. I like the pitching staff. I like Arenado. I think he's going to win MVP. I like.
That was my MVP.
Yeah,
pick, Peter.
That's good. I think he's going to do it. It's a good story with Albert Pujols. He revitalized his career. I think he's at 703, 702. I like their pitching staff. I like their outfield. I like all the way around. Mets. Mets are gonna Mets.
Oh my
Oh
God.
my God.
What do you think about that quickly? So the Mets, of course, they had a 10.5, I think, game lead in the NL East on June 1st. And things have kind of went haywire. They were relatively quiet at the trade deadline. Again, they made small minor moves, but they kind of relied on their guys. So they had a weekend series in which they were set up for success. Jake DeGrom pitched Friday, Max Scherzer pitched Saturday, and Bassett pitched Sunday. I know it was in Atlanta, but all the Mets had to do was win one of those games, and the NL East is practically theirs. And they weren't able to do that. They got swept. All of their pitching struggled. The lineup struggled. Lindor, I think, had 2 hits. I think DeGrom and Scherzer had a combined allowed 7 earned runs. So what do you think a season for the Mets would be? What do you think a failure would look like for the Mets?
So the Mets, the
Because
failure,
they are going to make the playoffs.
they're not going to go to the NLCS.
So that's a failure.
And I think
Is it NLCS or bust?
Yeah, they're going to get screwed because they're going to have to face the Dodgers if they can escape the wild card. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, we've been saying it for months. Mets are always going to Mets, and it's been taking a little longer than we expected. But that team, man, I just don't get
Seriously,
it.
absolutely.
And next offseason, they're just going to throw more money. Because Steve Cohen does Steve Cohen, and I don't blame him. But they got to re-sign Jacob DeGrom if they want, because I think he's going to go to the Braves if they don't do that. If they don't want him to do. But yeah, Mets, biggest choke artist in sports history.
You know, if I'm a Mets fan, I'm pissed at the players. I'm not pissed at the owner, the owner or general manager.
No, Steve Cohen's doing what he's doing. He signed Scherzer. He's signing Lindor. I mean,
they didn't get the job done.
Yeah.
That's what I think. I agree with you. I think they have to, first of all, they have to get through the wild card. They have to. That's a complete. And then in the second round, you lose to the Dodgers. I guess so be it. And I think at least you can say you lost to the Dodgers, but you can't lose in the wild card. You can't. Absolutely not. So, Peter, I'll give you my bracket here for the National League. I'm going to take the Cardinals over the Phillies. I'm going to take the Padres over the Mets. And then I'm going to take the Dodgers over the Padres. I'm going to take the Cardinals over the Braves. I want to pick the Cardinals to go to the World Series, but I just simply can't do it. I'm going chalk. Dodgers over the Cardinals. And I like the Cardinals. I told you they'd win the Central. I told you they'd be a factor in the NL, and they are. But I just think they're ultimately going to fall short against the Dodgers. But Dodgers, Cardinals, NLCS, Yankees, Astros, ALCS, that's a huge success for baseball.
Yeah, I was trying to look. I don't remember who I had in the NLCS when the beginning of the show, beginning of the year. But
I don't remember.
Yeah, I've Mets beating the Padres reluctantly, and then Dodgers beating the Mets, and then on the other side I have the Cardinals beating the Phillies. Phillies a good story. That's a good story too.
Schwarber's had a great year.
Yeah, and the Cardinals beating the Braves, and then so it's not 1 versus 1. I have the Cardinals beating the Dodgers.
I hope you're right. I really hope you're right. The Cardinals, like you said, fun, great story. The whole Albert Pujols thing's been awesome. But again, I tell you what do you think interests you more, the American League or the National League? For me,
National League. National
not
League
even close.
All good markets. Everybody that should be in it, I don't think is in it, and I don't think anybody's left out that shouldn't be.
Totally, 100% agree. The only kind of downer for the Padres is they're not at full strength. You know, of course, with Tatis, obviously not part of the picture anymore. I think it would have been a lot more interesting if he was there. But like you said, the Phillies are a great story. Kyle Schwarber, 40 home runs this year? I think he's second in the MLB.
Yep.
The Braves, of course, reigning World Series champions. Dodgers, of course, always there. Mets, New York market. Again, it's tough to really pick holes in any of the National League. The American League is pretty damn easy to do so. Cleveland, the Guardians, a team that no one really can name 2 players on the team. Tampa Bay, the market sucks. Toronto, they have some names, but it's Toronto. Like, I know that place will be jamming, but it's still Toronto. Yeah, and Seattle, I mean, it's a nice baseball area, but it's
hey, that curse was lifted.
Yeah, first time they made the playoffs since 2001, I think.
Yep.
Craziness. All right, so Peter, for me anyway, as it currently stands, I have the Dodgers and the Astros in the World Series, and I'm going to take the Dodgers. Shocker.
Ooh, shocker. All right, I'll pick the Cardinals over the Astros.
I hope you're right. I really hope you're right. I think that would be a lot of great for baseball if the Dodgers don't win again. Oh my God. Damn, that would be nuts.
I'm excited for this postseason though, even though the Red Sox aren't in it. But
yeah, I'm excited for the National League side of things. I'm a little disappointed it's not a best of 1; it's a best of 3.
Yep.
But maybe I'll grow to like it because at first I wasn't sure if I'd like the best of 1, and I ended up falling in love with it. So maybe I'll enjoy the best of 3. I do think it kind of sucks if you're not playing any home games if you're a if you're like a 5 or a 6 seed. That kind of sucks.
I mean, win your division.
Yeah, no, that's also fair. And you're right. Now that you think about it, the Mets are a team that well, the Mets are a 4 seed, so they're gonna end up at home. But
yeah, win your division.
True. All right, Peter, is it time to let in the man of the hour? Man of the, I don't know what the hell you want to call it. Man of the graphic man of the people,
graphic boy,
man of the people. All right, so like we said to start the show off, we're gonna bring on Matt Cunha, our graphics guy, who took a little bit of a beating from Peter last week. So I think we should probably start with Peter.
Last week,
telling Matt how he really feels. So Peter.
So congratulations, but was that real, or is that you just trying to get out of the 2 graphics, or?
no, it was all real. That was all real, all work.
And how does it feel that Jason's probably going to take your job?
Jason's going to take my job. Listen, those graphics were fire.
Thank you, Matt. You know, I really appreciate it. But yeah, so Peter has his tinfoil hat on, conspiracy theory guy. We all know how much Peter loves The Walking Dead and theories. And
yeah.
He thinks that the whole you weren't even on a cruise. He thinks that he thinks
no,
that
you just photoshopped yourself into the water. You photoshopped like that, like engagement photo, like
And rumor tells us you're dipping again next week. Sources tell us.
No.
Or is it a couple weeks? No.
Oh, that one. Maybe.
Oh yeah, Matt.
I'll be in Columbus for work.
Our sources were right. Yeah.
Yes, but I don't know if I can bring that one's like a fake work trip. Like it's a work trip, but I think I can bring an actual laptop there.
Well, Matt, you know, if you can't,
we'll let it slide again. But
it's all good. I'm always ready to come out of the bullpen. It's all good now.
That one's Halloween week.
Oh, great! Matt'll be at a Halloween party instead of doing graphics. That's
Matt's gonna listen. Matt's gonna dress up as like Anakin or something from Star Wars.
As Cooper. What's his name? Sheldon Cooper.
Oh, Sheldon Cooper.
I'll be at a conference.
Yes. So Matt, that's what Matt will be doing. Conference. Dressing up as Sheldon Cooper as opposed to doing the graphics.
Convenient. It's Halloween. Convenient.
Yep. So yeah, again, happy 100th episode. So Matt, I don't know if you were able to listen last week because we all know you're such a busy guy. But we started.
I think it's in my queue.
It's in the
right
queue.
Now.
We started a segment.
Caught up.
We started a segment last week where we kind of just talk 5. I asked Peter 5 random questions. Some have to do with sports, some don't have to do with sports, and we don't have a title for the segment yet. We're workshopping it. So
if you got any,
you got any great titles, let us know. So we have five questions for you and Peter, and then I have 2 separate questions just for you. All right, so this is for the group. All right, Peter, what is your favorite Halloween movie? Hocus Pocus 2 just came out, so we're gonna stay with the theme here. Peter, favorite Halloween movie?
Scream.
Okay, Matt, favorite Halloween movie? Oh, Matt's not gonna have
yeah, that's a tough one.
Suck it.
Nightmare Before Christmas.
Oh wait, there's a Lego Star Wars Halloween special. I think.
My God,
there you go.
Boom.
I don't watch any movies.
So Peter, did you see Hocus Pocus 2?
I have not yet.
I haven't even seen the one.
Is it good?
I haven't seen it yet. I'm gonna watch it because I know a couple people that worked on the movie. Is like
worked on the movie. You know.
Yes, I did not like on screen, more like off screen. I'm gonna watch it.
Ooh,
all right, number 2. Again for the group. Matt probably doesn't have a great answer for this, but Peter, what is your most memorable sports bet?
Sports bet? It's probably not even mine. It's Kendrick Bourne first touchdown.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a good
one. Yeah,
that's
mine too.
That's a good one.
Shout out Dave.
Yeah. In Vegas, we talked about that early on the pod. We were in Vegas 2020, and the 49ers are playing the Vikings in the divisional round. This was the year the 49ers were the 1 seed, and they got to the Super Bowl that year. And therefore, Dave Babb, of course, friend of the show, put a bet for Kendrick Bourne first touchdown. What were the odds on that? I don't even remember.
It's plus 1,000, I think. 10 to win $100.
Yeah, something crazy like that. Peter, that's a good one.
Or on the other side is my son's bet that didn't cash.
That's another one I have. The Suns bet for you. Another one, Peter, is standing in line. Me and you before Super Bowl 53.
To run downstairs.
Yep. You're gonna bet the under. Remember that, Peter?
Oh yeah, we were gonna bet like the thing minus 20.
Oh, the live bet too. That's a good one.
Yeah, the live bet, the NFC Championship game, right?
The divisional round. Yeah, that was the Seahawks Packers. Seahawks were down 24-0.
The sporting world of the thing was like, we don't do live bets.
We don't do live bets.
All right, question 3. So The Walking Dead started up on Sunday. So again, staying in theme of things. Peter, where would you go if there was a real live zombie apocalypse?
I would go with Matt because he knows how to travel the world, apparently.
Okay, good answer. Matt, where would you go?
What kind of zombies are we talking about?
Walking
The
Dead
ones that
zombies.
those ones, what, they just like drag their legs and that's about it?
The walkers, yes.
Okay, well, someplace high then, a place they can't climb to.
Well, insider secret. The next episode 19, they're gonna be able to open doors and run around and walk through wall and
You
walk
can't
up
just
walls.
you can't just change how the zombies act halfway through a show, right?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, Walking Dead does what they
What?
want. I'm excited for these two questions. So this again, we're staying in theme of things. Peter, where is the worst place to get engaged?
Where was Matt? No, I'm just kidding. Probably somewhere in the desert or in the ocean.
You're such an ass.
All right, Matt, where is the worst place to get
it's
engaged?
not on a cruise ship. I'm not saying that. Like in the actual Atlantic
Saying
Ocean.
like
Okay.
on like Horseneck Beach, is that what you're saying?
Oh, Pierce Beach. We're talking about that. Pierce Beach.
Pierce
Yeah. That's my answer.
You got an answer, Matt?
I would say an airplane.
Ooh, that's a great. That's a great answer. I was thinking a fast food parking lot. That's what. That's my answer.
Can I change my answer to a
Sure.
to a ballpark?
You want
That's the worst though.
Yeah,
that's
I don't
bad.
like.
But I don't think that's the worst.
I don't like when they.
I don't either. It's uncomfortable, but that's not the worst to me.
No. You want to hear Sophia's one requirement for when I was proposing to her?
I'd love to.
Was do not propose to me in my living room. So
Okay,
living room would probably be an option.
So that'd be worse.
Wait, why? Like because it like her parents being around, or just like not?
No,
kinda
it was just
awkward.
because it's lazy. It's lazy. It's lazy.
It's
and no
lazy.
effort put in.
That is lazy. Yep.
No, she said no because it's exactly what Matt would do.
Damn. Matt get exposed.
That's
left and
like
right.
cruise ship.
Yep, cruise ship.
All right, last group question here. So, again, Matt, you might not be aware because you've been off the grid for like 6 months, but this is our 100th episode. So, Peter, what is your favorite moment of the pod?
Listen, if I don't say Tua, it's probably anything about Tua. Fill in the blank.
That's fair. I thought you were going to say something else, but Matt, what's your favorite moment?
Probably all the bets you didn't put in.
Yeah, that's.
Oh, that's
all your jokish
Jokic,
bets,
yeah.
misbets.
Yeah, my favorite is when Peter thought. Well,
that was.
I thought Wyoming was Wyoming. Was,
Yeah.
Wyoming was Wisconsin. What was it? Or
Yeah,
something stupid.
That's a good Paris moment. Too.
Yeah, Paris is
Yes,
Italy.
it is.
Yeah, that's another good one. And then these are exclusively Matt. These are both Peter questions, so I guess I'll let Peter ask them.
Okay,
Matt, what's your favorite and least favorite graphic to make or episode?
Let me look through some pictures. Like the worst ones are always the
He hates
ones
the NBA
that
ones. I know it.
it's the ones where you have to go for the player's face, because half the time you can't find a player's face. The only time you can find a player's face is if ESPN has a PNG of them. It's the only time. No one else ever has it.
So an award. What's your favorite? It just doesn't matter.
So the NFL ones, because I have everything saved.
There you go.
I literally have a folder of all the logos, like regular logos and the banner logos, all saved, so I never have to look at them again.
Matt, I hope your trips in like 2 weeks or 3 weeks when you do the NBA awards. And yeah, like.
Good luck with that one, Jay. I don't have those players saved.
Yeah, we'll have to find those.
Let's see, Peter, you'll know this. Do they got Wi-Fi out in Columbia, out in Ohio?
No,
Yeah,
listen, no for me. There's nothing to do in Ohio.
You're telling me work won't even give me a car because the convention center is like attached to the hotel. They're like, oh, you got no reason to get a rent a car. I'm like, come on. So I can't even go anywhere.
Well, not. Peter, what was your last question?
Well, I mean, we said it in
kinda
the
already
show.
answered
How are you going to save your job? But
Yeah, do you have a statement?
Here.
Do you have a defending yourself? A statement defending
Or no,
yourself?
here.
This job. I was like, what do you mean? I've been traveling for
No,
work.
here you can defend 2 minutes to Dolphins anything you want uninterrupted.
Damn. So last time I did this, I said that Tua had a bad year, I'd be done, and here I am, still in the Tua bandwagon.
He's still surviving.
Still surviving, floating with my head above water.
Hey, 3-1, 3-1.
3-1's 3-1.
Needs the head injury. Come back. Just need the concussion.
It's just I don't know. But what I said this yesterday, but Teddy Bridgewater is my conspiracy theory going to get hurt halfway through this week's game. It's going to be not Reed Sinnett. got Skylar Thompson show this weekend. He's the third string quarterback that I think had one incompletion in all of the preseason.
So you're telling people to pick him up in Dynasty? Is that what you're saying?
I don't know about that much because they'll play Tua for the rest of the year when he comes back. He's out this week already, right? We're playing the Jets, I think.
And I got one more before we end. Again, this is pretty much give me one word to describe the New York Mets.
The New York Mets, poor Big Nate. Oh,
just one word.
Listen, I said this to Big Nate in the podcast. I am a Mets fan for the rest of the playoffs, so let's go Mets. I want them.
So
to win.
LGM is Matt's word.
Let's go Mets.
LGM.
All right, well, Peter, that was episode 100, and albeit to the next 100. Matt,
cheers
thanks for
to 100
on.
more. Cheers to 100 more players.
Can't wait for the 100. Yeah, we should do 100
player heads. Yeah.
All right, stay on.
Stay hot.